The town of Stockbridge represents to many the very best of small-town New England and maintains one of the most famous main streets in America, thanks to a memorable Norman Rockwell Christmas-time painting. Just a short ride from that main street is the Norman Rockwell Museum, a 36-acre campus that houses the largest collection of original Norman Rockwell art in the world, and this year celebrates its 50th anniversary. Producer Dave Fraser brings us the story.
Main Street in Stockbridge, a picturesque village that still looks much the way it did when artist Norman Rockwell was working in his studio. That's it there, the big picture window above the general store. The town draws throngs of visitors each year to stroll the sidewalks, have lunch at the Red Lion Inn, and tour the museum dedicated to a beloved American artist.
While he was certainly aware that there was hardship in people's lives, he always looked for the positive and the optimistic, and I think that's one of the hallmarks about visiting this museum. People leave more uplifted and inspired than when they arrive.
From its humble beginnings in the historic Old Corner House in downtown Stockbridge, visitors to the Norman Rockwell Museum today can tour a 36-acre campus that includes the artist's studio that was moved there, plus see the world's largest collection of original Rockwell art and other featured American illustrators.
This is the People's Museum. This was a museum created by grassroots demand, and so many people flocked to the Old Corner House when they learned that they could see his original paintings that very quickly the museum outgrew its original quarters. When anyone drives on this campus, they are struck by its beauty, but then they are really just caught in the heart when you come into the galleries and see his artwork in full scale and in real life as opposed to in reproduction.
Born in New York City, Rockwell always wanted to be an artist and enrolled in art classes at the New York School of Art at a young age. In 1916, the 22-year-old Rockwell painted his first cover for the Saturday Evening Post, the magazine he considered to be the greatest show window in America.
He really was a visual storyteller. You know, he said, for me the story is the first thing and the last thing. And as he said, that's not what a fine art man goes for, but that's what I go for. And he really stayed true to his idiom throughout his life.
When Rockwell moved to Stockbridge in 1953, he formed a bond with the residents and often asked them to model for his paintings. Claire Williams, who worked for many years as a docent at the museum, was one of Rockwell's models for a series of MassMutual Life Insurance Company advertisements.
It was 1958, and I'd say I was in my late 30s. And it was funny because that was the last piece that he did of me. I was out the door, and he said to his photographer, "Call her back." So as I came back in, I said, "Is something wrong, Mr. Rockwell?" And he said, "Here, put this apron on." So I put it on, whatever I was wearing there, and he did some more sketching and photographing, and that's what came out of there. That's my periwinkle blue Lons dress that he didn't put in a color, and I had no idea he wasn't going to. So that's what I wore because of the color, and it came out black and white. I was quite disappointed.
Eadie Locke was 8 years old when he posed for Rockwell's painting of The Runaway.
My mother said, "Put on a good shirt because you're going to go pose for Mr. Rockwell," which in the town of Stockbridge was not all that unusual. You know, a lot of my friends are in Rockwell prints. So my father came and got me out of school, and we actually posed for this cover at a Howard Johnson's restaurant on the Pittsfield Lenox Road, believe it or not. When we arrived, Mr. Rockwell already knew what he had in mind. So we just more or less sat on these stools, moved our hands a little bit, put on different jackets and that kind of thing, and then this was the result. Now the trooper was a gentleman named Richard Clements, who was in fact a Massachusetts state trooper. And I met him that day. He always claimed that there was a nationwide search for the handsomest police officer in the country, and that's why he was chosen. But in point of fact, his mother was Mr. Rockwell's next door neighbor. So Mr. Rockwell went across the lawn and asked his mother if Richard would be interested in posing for this picture. And of course I posed for that as well, for before the shot. Also when I was 8, because apparently when I was 9, I was no longer the cutest kid in the world. I never was asked to pose again.
In Rockwell's later years, he painted pictures illustrating some of his deepest concerns and interests. This included The Four Freedoms, a series of images inspired by President Franklin Roosevelt's recent address to Congress.
In the 1960s, for example, he started to focus on the civil rights movement and on major contemporary events like the moon landing in 1969, where he was actually picturing the moon landing before and after it happened. So I think he realized that, as a noted visual commentator, he really had the chance to affect us.
Rockwell produced more than 4,000 original works in his lifetime. He was also commissioned to illustrate more than 40 books, including Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, as well as painting the portraits for Presidents Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, and Nixon. Norman Rockwell passed away in November of 1978.